Hello and welcome to Maple Flavored Yoga. My name's Andy and today's class is about mudras. Mudras are used in yoga to help move energy through the body. They're also known as seals, and you maybe have seen them in yoga videos or photos, or maybe you've done them in a class and you're not really sure why. So to begin this practice, like with all practices, we need to fully arrive into this space, into the here and the now. So find a comfortable position. If you want to sit or lie down. If it feels good, you can close your eyes. But if you want to keep them open, that's fine as well. Just try and keep a soft gaze. Try and allow yourself this time to be in this space and dedicate to your practice. If at this time you want to set an intention or a sankalpa for this practice, by all means, you can do so now. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the roots of yoga and the people from South Asia who created and cultivated this wonderful practice. If your eyes were closed, you can softly blink them open and come into the space. Take in your surroundings, still anchoring you into the here and the now. So as I was saying, mudras are hand positions that we use during yoga to help amplify an effect or to move energy throughout our body. These mudras can correlate with a specific chakra or energy center in your body, and it also moves along different nadis or energetic pathways through your body as well. These can be practiced seated, standing. You can use them when you're walking. Obviously, also you can use them during your asana practice as well. So the first mudra that I'm going to go over with you is Anjali Mudra. It's fairly common. It's utilized in sun salutations. It's used a lot in yoga practices, and it's also known as prayer pose. So you take both hands and you bring them together, usually at heart center, near your heart chakra. You want to make sure that you've got a nice light pressure. You don't need to really press hard, and you want to leave space between your palms to help the energy move. I typically end up having my thumbs pressing against my sternum or my breastbone. It just feels good and it helps me connect just a little bit more. So if you want to try this out now, this mudra is really wonderful for cultivating gratitude. It's also a sign of respect for other people. It's very calming, comforting. And as always with all mudras, or even when you're meditating, you want to have a nice long straight spine. Again, it helps move energy throughout your Sushumna Nadi, which is another energetic portion of your being. So we'll just take a few breaths here. what arrives for you, what you feel when you're utilizing this pose, because it will be different for everyone. Connecting to your breath. In your next exhale, you can release your hands down to your knees or into your lap. If your eyes were closed, you can open them softly. And just allow whatever you felt while utilizing that mudra to settle in. I find a lot of the times I intuitively move after I meditate, or if I'm doing asana, I'll have these little wiggles, and I figured out, I didn't really notice it at first, but I figured out that I'm actually manually kind of moving that prana around, or that energy around, and kind of tucking it into all the little nooks and crannies. So if it feels good for you to move your body a little bit afterwards, by all means do so. Let your intuition and that intuitive movement take over. That's a good feeling, I have to say. I hope you're feeling it too. The next mudra we'll go over is Chin Mudra, also known as Yana Mudra. And this is a very popular one you'll see in yoga photos and things like that. It's often used in meditation as well. I typically use this when I meditate. And it's when you take your thumb and your index finger and you bring them together. Another variation is when you bring your index finger to the first joint of your thumb. So you may see people doing it like that as well. I typically go for the pads of the fingers. So you can bring your hands down. If your palms are facing down, that's more for grounding. And if your palms are facing up, that's more for receiving. This mudra is kind of like yoga in a mudra, because the thumb represents the divine, God, universe, whatever word you want to put there for the divine is up to you. And then the index finger represents the self. So we're actually bringing these together, which is unity, yoking. Yoga means to yoke or to unite. So this is a really powerful, wonderful mudra. It helps cultivate wisdom and knowledge, and it helps you focus when you're meditating sometimes. It gives you a nice complete circuit of energy as well, which is really, really great. So you'll see it on people's knees. Sometimes you'll see it at people's hearts as well. And you can see it often in an asana practice as well. So we'll give this one a try. So palms down or up, yogi's choice. Nice, tall, straight spine. Once again, connecting with your breath here. Nice light pressure on your fingertips. And just take a few breaths here to explore whatever sensations come up. After your next exhale breath, you can blink your eyes open if your eyes were closed. Release your hands and just become the observer. That is a common phrase used in a lot of yoga, and it's to simply watch and observe what's happening within you during these poses. So even when you're in a warrior two, let's say, there's going to be things that you feel emotionally, physically, energetically, and accepting them as they are is very important, without trying to change what your experience is, to allow it to be as it is in that moment. So whatever you're feeling right now, simply observe it, allow it to permeate yourself, let it settle in, and allow it to just be whatever it is. No need to change it. That one also felt really good. I personally really enjoy mudras. I think they're a really lovely icing on the cake for a lot of things. That was not always my experience when I first started yoga. I remember doing them and I felt really strange about it. I felt very much like a poser. I just didn't really know why I was doing them. And I was so new to the practice that it just seemed like too much at that time. After a little while, I came back to them and they really started to feel good. So if these mudras aren't feeling good, they're not aligning with what you are currently feeling or where you're at in your practice, by all means don't do them, but I would encourage you to revisit them a couple weeks or a few months, even a year down the road, to see if maybe things have changed. And if they have, great. And if they're just not for you, they're just not for you. So listen to yourself. You know what's best for yourself. So the final mudra that we're going to go over is the Dina mudra. And this one is typically used in meditation. I use this one in my meditative practice as well. I use this one particularly if I'm feeling more scattered and I really need to focus and hone my energy in. So this is, I don't want to say simple mudra, but it isn't taxing, where there are some other mudras that maybe are a little more challenging due to hand flexibility and things like that. So you take your right hand and you place it into your left and you bring your thumbs together. So again, it's completing that circuit. And you typically have this below your navel. So you can rest it on your thighs or your feet. If you want to use props or a blanket, if you have blocks or something like that to rest your hand on so that it's more comfortable for you, by all means do so. And the right hand represents your enlightenment and your wisdom. And then the left is the illusion of existence. The idea that we are all actually truly one. We are all divine. So that is this idea of self, how it's all kind of in our minds. And bringing the left and the right thumbs together is the unity of the male and female energies of the body. We have male and female energies throughout us, and the right side is typically represented as the male and the left is the female. So the right is male energy, heating, solar energy. The left is the female, which is calming, cooling, lunar energy. So you'll bring your hands below your navel, lightly letting your thumbs touch. This once again creates that energetic circuit to allow the energy to flow freely throughout the body. Allowing your prana to move where it needs to go. So once again, once you're comfortable, we will take a few breaths here to see what bubbles up for us. Again, you can have your eyes open or closed. After your next exhale, you can release your hands, bring them back to your thighs, give them a shake if that feels good too. Open your eyes and just let that saturate. Again, observe whatever you're feeling. Whatever you're feeling is valid. That is a thing that was difficult for me to accept and incorporate into my practice at first, especially if it's stuff that doesn't feel super good. We typically want to remove ourselves from that, but learning to sit in those spots that are maybe sticky or uncomfortable actually creates resilience. And the only way for us to truly process the not so great stuff is to acknowledge it, to feel it, let it run its course, and then release that energy. So sometimes if you're in a yoga pose and your asana practice and you really don't like it, I have those frog poses that for me right now. I'm not a fan, but I know that I need to be in that space to remove whatever that unsatisfying feeling is. So that can happen during something as seemingly simple as a mudra. So that is the end of this video. I know it was a short one. I hope to make more mudra specific videos for you in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to say thank you for allowing me to assist with your practice today. So to finish this off, we will practice Anjali Mudra once again. Bring our hands to heart center, bowing our heads. No matter where you go today or tomorrow, next week or next year, I want you to know that you are seen, you are loved, and you are divine. Take care.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Maple Flavored Yoga.